Welcome back to session 2, exercise 4 of mindful drawing. I've already drawn my circle here to make into a sphere. Exercise 4 is called scumbling. Some people might call it scribbling. Some people could call it doodling. But, let's give it a go. So we're trying to give the illusion of form. The light is coming in here, so the shading is going to be around this area where the light is not reaching to various degrees. So this again, we start off on the edge, and it's up to you. It depends what mood you're in. You can scribble jaggedly, more roundly like I'm doing here. It all depends on the mood. Tend to have it tighter towards the edge here, and as it goes into the center, it can kind of loosen up a little bit. So again, we're looking for a density towards the edge and that opening up into the center. So you don't need to do it as ordered as I'm doing here. You can do it more freestyle. I'm kind of doing it in layers, as you can see at the minute. And this is quite a quick method of creating the illusion of shading on a piece of work. So obviously these are just tests you can use. You can use this to make a cylinder look more cylindrical. Say you're doing a cup or something, or a vase. And obviously if you're doing life drawing, you can make figures look more three-dimensional, make the muscles and the limbs look more lifelike by using different sorts of shading. So I'm going to go back over again to give this darker patch around the edge. Just going over the scumbling I've already done. As you can see, it's beginning to get a little bit denser in that area. Quite good to do it with the propelling pencil as I'm using, because it's giving you a consistent width of line. But a biro would do the same as this. Just a kind of suggestion of shade coming further into the form. It's really hardly there at all. And darker again at the edges. Doodling's quite therapeutic. People, when they used to have phones in the hall back in the old days, used to have a pad, and I remember sitting for hours on the stairs doodling as I was talking to my friends on the phone. And coming out was some quite spectacular doodles all over the notepad, which I used to get told off for. It's quite therapeutic when your mind's just not really thinking of anything in particular, just concentrating on the scribble. And of course, any sort of drawing is quite mindful. Takes a mind to another place and stops us from, hopefully distracts us from negative automatic thoughts that might pop into a mind. I've actually got up in the night sometimes and had a cup of tea and done some drawing if I felt anxious or I just haven't been able to sleep. After just doing some sketching like this, I'm usually able to get back off to sleep. That works for me. Okay, so we're nearly there. I've just adjusted my lead there in case you wondered what I was doing. It's a repelling pencil, so it needs to be fed when it wears down. And you can press on harder as I'm doing here now. You hear my board protesting just to make the line a bit darker. We'll be using different grades of pencils in later videos, but I'm doing the old-fashioned method to get a darker line rather than going to a softer pencil. I'm just pressing on harder. Okay, so a little bit more around this area because I want this to be a bit darker where it comes underneath the form. And that's it.